Do you want a policy you can dump a ton of cash into in the first year and then immediately get a loan from the insurance company? Well, there are a few things you should know before you do so. My name is Darius.
And I'm Carmen.
For the best infinite banking and financial advice, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when we post new videos.
There are a ton of things you can do with a life insurance policy. However, magic is not one of them. We want to remind you that this process is a marathon and not a sprint. So unless you are a business owner, an investor, or have an emergency fund, it may or may not make sense for you to dump a ton of money into a policy. And the way in which you can increase the amount of money you contribute to a policy on an annual basis is by adding something called a term rider onto the policy. Now, just like the paid up additions rider that we talk about, the term rider is an extra benefit or an extra add-on that we would put onto the policy to increase your death benefit. And because the death benefit is increased, that increases the window, or it increases that MEC limit that you have on the policy. And a lot of people like to tap into this because they have significant amount of cash that they want to contribute to the policy.
Before we go any further, this is an option for everyone, but we don't recommend that anyone just use it. Because let me set the scene for you. Let's say you have a $20,000 premium and you want to dump an additional $40,000 into the policy. This is a total of $60,000 in initial premium in the very first year. Now, for a business owner, this is great because they have the cash flow to be able to borrow the money from the insurance company and then pay it back with interest because they're used to moving funds in and out of their business for their business needs. This also applies to an investor who has money moving in and out of their business for investments. They have the cash flow in order for the investment to make these payments back to their banking system. The third person that this applies to is someone that's just moving their emergency fund over into a whole life insurance policy so they can earn a higher interest rate on those funds. Now, for an emergency fund, they wouldn't be taking the funds out immediately. They only take the funds if there's a need for it. Now, for those individuals with putting their emergency fund into their whole life insurance policy, they also have the opportunity to take advantage of a money-making opportunity where they will borrow from the whole life insurance company and then use those funds to invest. And this puts them in the same position as the business owner or the investor.
Yeah, I think the main thing that we want to hit home with this point is if you are contributing a significant amount of money into your life insurance policy, you need to make sure that you have plans for those funds. And we just illustrated 3 scenarios in which it may make sense. I'm sure there's other scenarios out there, but we just want to make sure that you all understand. Because people request term riders onto their policy, but then after we have a discussion and understand exactly what it is that these individuals want to accomplish for their financial goals, sometimes we find out that it doesn't make sense for them to add a term rider because they didn't have a plan for the funds. They were just expecting to be able to dump in cash and borrow it back out, but they didn't have a repayment plan. So now they've just incurred an expense for themselves because they owe the insurance company the principal and the interest on their loan. Now, here is an example of where this may not make sense. We know of individuals who have significant amounts of lines of credit, and sometimes the thought is to take that line of credit and to dump it into a policy and then borrow it back out for an investment. And for those individuals who understand what they're doing, this is totally fine. It's all about moving money. But for those individuals who are robbing Peter to pay Paul, it gets really difficult because, again, you're just incurring expenses for yourself because you're going to be on the hook for 5% simple interest every single year you have an outstanding loan. And adding additional money to a policy sounds super sexy, but on paper you have to make sure that you can afford that 5% simple interest charge that the insurance company is going to charge you for obtaining a loan. So comment below and let us know what you have used your loans for so that you can help inspire other individuals to get their banking systems jump started. And if you haven't already, check out our video where we talk about 10 different ways that you can utilize your banking system.
So what we want to do now is show you a policy where you're able to add the additional funds to the policy using a term rider. So what we have here is a whole life insurance policy designed for Mr. Timmy Turner. Now, Timmy Turner is a made-up person, but for this example, we're going to say that his age is 45 years old and he's a standard non-smoker. The total initial premium is $20,000 with a total initial death benefit of $1,302,708. This premium is made up of $468,658 in base premium. And then we've added a term rider to this policy of $800,000 for 10 years. We've added this $800,000 to increase his MEC limit to allow a surge of cash into his whole life insurance policy. And then the paid up addition rider added an additional $34,050 in death benefit. Here's how this policy breaks down. At the time the policy is in force, Mr. Turner is 46 years old, and this is the first year, followed by the contract premium. We notice here that this is $60,000 because, again, the initial premium is $20,000, but because of this level term rider, we were able to add an additional $40,000 for a total of $60,000 in premium the very first year. The MEC limit in this example is located at the bottom of the screen, which is $60,810.42 to be exact, that he can add into this policy. This includes the $20,000 of premium, which is why we have a total contract premium the very first year of $60,000. Now, what is his cash availability? Well, we can see here that the total surrender value, which is the cash value guaranteed to him, is $47,708 in the very first year. The total contract premium is $60,000. The paid up surrender value is $47,708. This purchased in death benefit $159,506, where your total surrender value for the guaranteed side is the exact same as your PUA surrender value for a total of $47,708. And with all that being said, the total death benefit for the first year of this premium is $1,428,164 on the guaranteed side. On the non-guaranteed side, the only difference between the two is this annual dividend of $536. We applied the annual dividend of $536 to the surrender value to give us a total of $48,244. This provides us with the total death benefit of $1,428,700. Now, what did this term rider do for you? By adding this additional $800,000, we're able to put in an additional $40,000 to our policy. Now we have in cash value $48,244. Without the term rider of $800,000, the total initial premium of $20,000 will provide you with roughly $12,000 in cash value. But, however, because of the term rider and the $800,000 of death benefit added to this policy, you now have available in cash value $48,244 to include the dividend. Now, since the dividend is not guaranteed, let's focus on the guaranteed side. If you want to deposit an additional $40,000 into the policy and get $47,000 out in cash value, then in interest, you would be paying $2,385. This is 5% simple interest on this $47,708. Now, the reason why we keep saying you need to have a place for this cash is because you now owe $50,093. This includes the principal and interest. Now, if you only make interest-only payments, what you'll pay on an annual basis is $2,385. Every single year, this loan is outstanding. Let's jump 5 years from now. And let's say every single year you obtain a loan from your banking system. That means you borrow from the insurance company $119,281. The interest that you would pay on this loan would be $5,964.05 every single year this loan is outstanding. Why is this important to note? Because your interest payments is $6,000. That's why we keep reiterating that you must have a plan in order to make more than what it costs you to borrow from this policy. When it comes to creating your own banking system, death benefit is secondary. However, what I want you to notice is that at the end of 10 years, because this is a 10-year term, your death benefit decreases by $800,000. So it goes from $1,554,903 to $750,903. If you recall, term riders are only for a specific period of time. This term rider bought us $800,000 only for 10 years. Now that you understand the concept of term riders, how do you feel knowing that $800,000 of your death benefit was decreased by $800,000 in year 11? Some people don't mind this because, again, we're designing policies for cash value. However, I'm not overly excited about this because moving forward, I can't add nearly as much money as I could have, and my death benefit has been decreased by $800,000. So it's 100% up to you. The whole point of this video is just to educate you so you can understand exactly what you want and what you should be asking your agents for when you decide to create a banking system for yourself, your business, or your family. In this specific policy, of course, the first year is $60,000. The next year you have the option to add the $60,000, but in this example, we maintain the actual policy premium at $20,000 until year 5. Year number 6, we have $9,296. The premium itself is $9,296. The cost of this level term rider is $1,296, where you see this reflected for the next 5 years. And then following this, that term rider is no longer a part of this policy, which reduces the policy to the base premium of $8,000 for the duration of this policy. Keep in mind, policies can be adjusted to fit your specific financial goals. And we're sharing this with you so that you understand how exactly a term rider will affect your policy. What you'll notice in the total surrender value, just on the guaranteed size, is by between years 3 and 4, you have a $20,000 growth in your policy, which means thereafter, every single premium that you deposit into your banking system, you'll have more available than what you put in. For example, between years 6 and 7, if you subtract year number 7, 141,691 from the previous year of 130,331, you have a growth of $11,360, where your deposit into this policy was only $9,296. What I want you to notice in this example is the difference between a whole life insurance policy with a term rider and a whole life insurance policy without the term rider. What you see here is, again, Timmy Turner, male, age 45 years old, standard non-smoker. This policy does not include a term rider. So we will see, starting on the right side here, the total initial premium is $20,000. This $20,000 provides Mr. Turner with $506,831. This is broken down into a base policy death benefit of $468,658. The paid up addition rider also provides a death benefit. In this example, is $38,173. If we move down to the tabular detail, it's exactly the same as the previous example that we showed you, where the contract premium is $20,000 for the first year, but this does not include a $40,000 dump because it does not have any term insurance added to it. Moving over onto the guaranteed values, we have a paid up addition surrender value of $11,418. This purchased $38,173 in death benefit. The total surrender value is $11,418 with a total death benefit on the guaranteed side of $506.83. On the non-guaranteed side, the only difference between the two is the annual dividend. So if we take this annual dividend of $191 plus the paid up addition surrender value of $11,418, we get a total surrender value of $11,608, which is available in the form of cash value. We have a total death benefit of $507,022. This is a standard policy with 40% of the base premium, which is $8,000, is paying this death benefit of $468,000. The cash value available, which is going towards the paid up addition rider, is $12,000. The MEC limit for this policy that is traditionally designed with 40% of the base premium and 60% going in towards the paid up addition is $23,658. Now let's compare these two policies side by side. On the right side, you have the policy with the term added to it, and on the left side, you have the policy with no additional term added to it. It's just a traditional 40-60 split with 40% in base and 60% into the paid up addition rider. Let's start on the right side with the very first policy that we showed you in this video. We have the total initial premium of $20,000 with the total death benefit of $1,302,000. On the right side, we have the same exact total initial premium of $20,000, but we notice the death benefit is a lot lower at $506,831. Now, immediately, let's take a look and see what the difference in the guaranteed cash value is available in both policies. Here we have $11,418 available in total cash value. On the other hand, we have $47,708 available in total cash value. The difference between the two is the $40,000 in additional paid up additions that was added to this policy. When we compare years number 2 to year number 1, we'll see the difference here is about $11,911. This is the part where you maybe want to pause this video and start comparing some numbers, because if we look on the guarantee side at the total cash value or total surrender value, if we compare years 2 and 1 and we get the difference between the two, we'll get the growth in the years between 1 and 2. So if we take $59,620 and subtract it from $47,708, we get cash value growth of $11,911. But when we take a look at the cash value growth for the traditionally designed policy, we get around the same thing. It's a difference between about $20. This really starts to make a difference the latter parts of this policy. For example, skip down to years 25 on the guaranteed side, we have $386,945. Comparing the exact same year on the total surrender value on the guaranteed side of a traditionally designed policy, we have $322,200. That's a difference of about $60,000, and the only thing we did was we added $40,000 in additional paid up addition to this policy on the right. And this is just something to think about as we work together in creating policies for specific situations. Now, what I want us to do is compare the cost of both of these insurance policies. On the left side, we have the traditional policy with no term. On the right side, again, we have the policy with the 10-year level term rider added to it. The base policy death benefit is exactly the same, $468,658 on the policy with the 40% in base and 60% in PUA. And then this death benefit of $468,000 with the additional term added on to this. The cost of this policy, the annual premium is $75 in both cases. Now the difference comes when we see the $1,296 that purchased us $800,000 in death benefit. This is the cost of the 10-year level term rider. And then we have $10,704 that is our paid up addition rider that purchases $34,050. This gives us a total death benefit on the policy with the term added to it of $1.3 million. On the other hand, the traditional policy, we see the $12,000 in the paid up addition rider purchase us $38,173 in death benefit for a total of $506,831. So in comparison, these two policies, the only difference is the level term rider has come with an additional cost of $1,296 per year, which reduced our paid up additions rider. So what this should illustrate to you is when we add term to a whole life insurance policy, it is not expensive at all, but it is not free. I want you to take all these things into consideration. The way in which you'll be using your policies really dictate how your policies are designed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now keep in mind we are oversimplifying this concept of using a term rider. So if you think using a term rider onto your policies will fit your overall goals, then let us know. We can absolutely work with you to help make sure that we structure the policy correctly. And for those of you who are on the fence, we just wanted to make sure that we shared this video with you so that you could understand the concept of why and which you would add a term rider to your policy.
So now that you understand if term riders are best for you and you want some ideas on exactly what you should be using your system for, then download our free guide of 52 ways to own your own lifestyle, where we go over 52 separate ways that you can utilize your banking system to redirect some of those interest payments back to yourself.
And also, if you want to join a community of like-minded individuals, then join our Patreon community so you can learn all of the tips and tricks on how you can maximize your banking system.
And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, and share it with a friend.
And don't forget to own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will.